Well, this is Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. And I had a bit of a warp in that sharp finger. So I got it in my straightening jig with a couple of shims, and I'm see if I can temper that warp out of it. It's really just a mild warp. And I think one tempering will do it. But you can temper this thing 100 times as long as you don't go over the tempering temperature. You won't lose its hardness. So I'm getting this back in the tempering oven, and we'll be back in about 2.5 hours. Hey, I just noticed something. This African blackwood is much larger than this Karelian birch, which is from the Caucasian region in Russia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and one other country. Yeah, I'm sure that's just a coincidence, though. Well, I got the warp out of there. I'm really getting good at figuring out just how many shims to put in to get a warp out. This first try, I got this on the first try, and the last knife I got it on the first try. So this straw color, you see the difference between this and this? This and that straw color is an indication of a perfectly tempered knife. And I may start tempering 2 times because there's a lot of people that do, and I think it might make a difference. Anyway, I'm almost ready to put this on the buffer. Oh, and I've got 2 neck knives. This is a tentative sale. The people that were wanting neck knives in a leather sheath wanted walnut burl, and I don't have any walnut burl. And the thing is, walnut burl is about 40 to 50 bucks a block, and I don't get a lot of money for these small knives. There's no way I could spend 40, 50 bucks on a block of wood and then put them on a $100 knife that I've spent a week making. So generally what I do on the 2 small knives that I make is whatever wood I have available that I haven't spent a lot of money on, I use. And unless they want to spend the 40 or 50 bucks on a block of wood, which that would make a $125 knife, 165, 175. And for that size knife, you could move up and get for a few dollars more, you could get a sharp finger. Anyway, and I'm waiting on them to make up their mind what kind of wood they want, and this is what I have. Walnut, this is my self-harvested walnut, desert ironwood, African ebony, and Karelian birch. And so anyway, here we go. I'm going to get this out. I'm going to sand this up, take this to the buffer room, spend about an hour in there, and then come back, cut my handles and shape them roughly, epoxy them on, pin them, and that will probably be my day out here. All right, I'm off the buffer. I still got to clean it up some, but I got my desert ironwood cut to the proper thickness, which left me just enough to do a 3-finger neck knife with. And that is some presentation grade burl right there. All right, we'll clean these up. I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna get this in the drill press, drill my pinholes, and we'll be epoxying here in about 30 minutes. Alrighty then, we will see you tomorrow. That's gonna be a pretty knife. Purty. It is definitely nap time. Not for me. I got a little more sanding to do. I'm at 180 on these. And I just started these. I cut them out and ground the bevels and drilled my holes this morning. So I've made some real progress. I'm going to get these up to 220. Then I'm going to go home, take a shower, and find something to eat. Well, I came home. I'm just going to add this to the end of the video. Came home and had me some tomatoes and cucumbers. And my wife got the mail, and our insurance company has dropped us. Not just us, but anybody in this area. And now I had a claim for my fence, and of course they give us a bupkis for the fence. So I've got about 14,000 feet of fence I got to replace, because that's what it costs to put it up. And I'm going to go back with cheaper fence, and I'm going to have to do it myself. Anyway, the insurance company dropped us, and their reason is we are in an elevated fire risk area, which is absolute BS. I could throw a rock and hit the fire department, and we have a fire hydrant in our freaking yard. I don't know if I've ever showed that to you, but it's way down in the corner of my property where the furthest northwestern corner of my property, which I don't go very often there because it's a steep hill and I'm a fat guy. So down there, I got a fire hydrant down there. So there's really no excuse to drop us. But what they have had is a whole bunch of claims because we had a tornado come through here. And this is exactly what the last insurance company did. We had an ice storm, and it collapsed both of my carports. Well, they gave me just barely enough to buy the wood and tin and build it myself. I couldn't afford to build the second one on the other side of my shop, which is I really want to overhang a carport over there because that's where my forge used to be, and it was out of the sun. And I didn't get rain on my equipment over there. I had my table saw, my miter saw, chop saw over there, and it stayed dry. And it was just closer to my shop, too. You know, my back steps up, my back door in my knife shop was right there. So I couldn't afford to do that. They only give me enough money I could never have afforded to hire somebody. I mean, I just barely bought the lumber and the tin to build it myself. And on top of that, they said in the settlement, if you call it that, I don't know what, it's an insurance claim, whatever you call it. I call it a settlement for lack of a better word. They said that I could find somebody to take down the crumpled carports in exchange for the aluminum, which another absolute BS. I got about $200 worth of aluminum. I did it myself. And nobody would have done a week's worth of work for $200 plus the gasoline and the tools you had to use to cut it up. We got screwed by the insurance company, screwed big time. So anyway, and they screwed us again. So I got 700 feet of fence, and when it was put up, back when it was put up, it was about 14 grand. Well, I didn't pay for that. Bev used to own this property, and that's what she paid to have it fenced in. So the insurance people denied our claim. Rightfully, I guess it wasn't covered, and there was stipulations and loopholes, and the wind wasn't coming from the right direction, and the moon wasn't in its seventh phase. And now they dropped us from their insurance. So it is really hard to find insurance for a mobile home. We didn't know that before we bought a mobile home, but we know now. So that's two companies that have dropped us. Actually, the company with the carports, they went out of business after they paid everybody. They filed bankruptcy and went out of business. So this company kind of took over their customers, Aegis, A-E-G-I-S. And now they're dumping everybody over here. So I don't know what we're going to do for homeowners insurance. They won't renew it. So anyway, some people gave me money when that tornado came through here. They put money on my PayPal, and I've added it up, and between that money and a little bit of money I have, I'm going to be able to buy some cheaper fence and some T-posts and put 700 feet of fence up by myself, well, with my wife. And I'm just going to do it like 50 feet at a time. I'm not going to kill myself, and I'm definitely not going to do it until, middle September when it cools down, because it's just too hot. We're having record-breaking heat in the hundreds, and with heat indexes of 110, 112. Okay, so again, I want to say thank you to the people that put money on my PayPal. I would never dream of asking, but thank you. I appreciate it. And somebody actually, well, I won't go anymore. I just want to say thank you to those people, because it's going to help me buy the fence I need. And so far, we've been able to keep. So far, the dogs haven't really shown much desire to go outside the area where the fence is. And I'm thinking it's because they're old and they just like what they're used to. Plus, they know that there's a lot of wildlife out there. My wife has been seeing a mama fox with 2 or 3 babies. And of course, the raccoons are all out there, and skunks and snakes. And I kind of think these dogs know that to stay on this side of where the fence used to be, and they're probably going to be safe. And this one, she doesn't go down there anyway. She goes just a few feet from the door, does her business, and comes back. And he doesn't go down that far either. Luce is the only one that's an explorer, and she's getting old too, so she won't be going far. So it's not imperative that I do the fence immediately, so I'm going to wait till it cools down. Okay, 7 minutes of me talking. Who'd have thunk?